In the distant future of 2052, somewhere in the Ypsilon Galaxy lies the planet Sophia III. Intergalactic conqueror Goez has invaded the system with the forces of the In-Bem Dark Star Cluster. The Science Academy of Sophia III creates the Metal Attacker, a mobile battle tank, and Kane Gardner, a genius boy pilot, takes the wheel to combat the forces of the evil Goez. This is the story of Super Planetary War Records' Metafight, or Blaster Master in the US. Of course, some things about the story jump right out as strange. First, the name Metal Attacker. What kind of unoriginal idiot came up with that?
Second, it's designated as a mobile attack tank. Aren't all tanks supposed to be mobile? Isn't that kind of what separates them from being like a bunker? I mean, sure, Sophia III is like super mobile with its ability to jump and hover and whatever the fuck you do in water. Glide?
Now, if you've ever played Blaster Master on the NES, you might notice some changes localization did for our version of the story. First, Sophia III is the tank, not the planet, which is fine because most planets don't have a long lineage of being named after each other. Another thing you might notice is that none of the backstory exists. Where Japan gets an epic story full of intergalactic battles, the US gets Froggy! Wait up! Also, they changed the name from Kane to
Jason!
Now, at the risk of spoiling too much at the get-go, knowing that only the beginning and ending scenes have been changed explains a lot, considering that if this is indeed a frog-centric rescue operation, surely killing said frog in level 4 is a conflict of interest. In reality, Jason gets wrapped up in a battle in the underground from the evil plutonium boss, whose name is just as original as Metal Attacker when you're looking for edgy-sounding names from 1988. Other names which might work would be Nuclear Dude, Atomic Master, or Uranium boss.
Anywho, this is one of the earliest games I can remember watching my older brother play.
It introduced me to a couple of game mechanics that were insane to my little toddler mind. First was the overall gameplay. Okay, so check this out. I'm driving around in a tank, look at me, I'm bobbing along, pretty sweet. Okay, right, okay. But then I press select, and aww, look at him, little adorable Jason. Oh, look at that, he's got a little gun and everything. Okay, Jason, back into the tank you go. See, the ability to leave the tank is important. As you drive around, you'll find these little doorways, and the game goes from platformer to run and gun. In this top-down view, Jason can explore these little mini-dungeons which have power-ups, and more importantly, also host the boss room. In each of these 8 levels, you have to find the correct mini-dungeon, explore the rooms until you find the boss room, then you'll get a power-up which you'll use to progress to the next level, a la Metroid. The first level's boss is called Mother Brain, which is another curious trapping of the 80s culture. If you wanted something surreal, you usually went with some sort of brain creature. I mean, you had Mother Brain in Metroid, Krang from Ninja Turtles, which isn't actually a brain, but looks close enough to count. I mean, when I first saw the game, even at like age 4, I was jaded enough at that point to be like, oh, of course a brain is gonna be a fucking enemy in this game. Killing this boss leaves behind a whatever this is. This jingle here, I need to talk about this. Now, to anyone who's played an NES before, knows that the system is finicky.
Hey, it's not working.
Oh yeah!
So much so that it can sometimes crash for no reason. Now, the jingle that plays here when you find another upgrade holds that last note for a very long time. I'd thought the game had frozen on me as a kid. I'd reset the game and have to start over. Oh, and there's no saves or passwords. All 8 levels have to be completed in one sitting. I mean, it's doable, but damn! Also, you have like 4 continues. 3 lives per continue, sure, but I'd originally thought you had an unlimited number of continues since the game never explicitly tells you have a certain number of continues until you're balls deep in level 6, die, then whoop, right back to the title screen. Also, as an aside, I love the game over jingle. After each boss, you get an upgrade, and these upgrades can range from absolutely pointless, I'm looking at you here, key, to extremely useful. You have the Hyper Beam, which deals more damage and allows you to progress to level 2, the Crusher Beam, which allows you to destroy certain blocks and progress to level 3, Hover and Dive Engines, levels 3 and 5 respectively, allow you to traverse air and water, and 2 separate wall upgrades, which can allow you to drive on walls and then ceilings. Oh, and a key in Area 4, which unlocks a door in Area 4, and that's it. yeah, it's really pointless. Area 4 is a pain in the ass too, since there's a part of it done traversing the level on foot as Jason, and as adorable as he is, he takes falling damage. And he dies. And he dies. And he dies. And holy motherfucking god, he dies! Level progression is another thing that blew my mind. See, we had this game for a very long time. I was 9 when I first had access to the internet, and my brother and I finally figured out how to get into level 4. After you fight what the internet calls the photophage, but what our family called Miss Madam Block, you get the hover attachment. Now most games would have you hover somewhere in level 3 and find a doorway to level 4, but this game forces you to backtrack all the way to the beginning of level 1. See that cliff face to the left of the starting point? Hover up that. Boom! Level 4! Haha! Oh shit, forgot my tank. Now this game is hard. It starts off like, hard, but then the levels start getting real hard. Like uncomfortable erection in math class hard. I mean, they try to make the deaths feel less painful with animations and sound effects. Even though I get angry that I died, I enjoy that explosion animation way too much. And have I mentioned the game over jingle? But like any good game for the NES, there's ways to cheese the game. On bosses in the 2nd, 4th, 6th, and 7th levels, damage continues being dealt even when the game is paused, so if you're good, you can lob a grenade at the boss, quickly pause the game while it's being hurt, and then wait for a bit. The boss is taking damage the whole time. This makes taking Fred the Frog out that much easier.
You little green bitch. Waste my weekend, jump down a hole chasing your fucking green ass. Yeah, you better fucking die like...
Level 6 is the obligatory ice world, which means everything is slippery. Which makes me wonder, don't tanks have, like, really good traction? How come Sophia here is slip-sliding all over the place and damn it! The levels are starting to get longer now, with less to explore and way more punishing. The boss of this world is a crab, and damn, he's hard. If I could strafe, this boss would be a cakewalk.
Or a crab walk. Oh, but seriously, this boss is getting to be a problem. Fortunately, I have the advantage. The NES advantage.
The only problem is I had to swap out the controllers while the system was running, and that's always a risky proposition. Don't freeze. Don't freeze. Come on. Boom! Yeah, you're dead. Oh shit, now I have to swap back. Now I have the Wall 1 upgrade, which means rotten up walls! This is actually where the game starts getting harder again, mostly because now I have to stop pressing right if I want to jump from platform to platform, otherwise, whoop, just gonna stick to the side here. Level 7 is hidden within level 2 and requires me to drive up this long-ass wall and execute a stunning backflip to land here. Now I might just be crazy here, but I think they might have blown their load prematurely on the music composition for level 7 because holy shit! It's like if Dragon Force were composing songs for the NES. The worst part is that this level isn't even that packed full of traps. In fact, it's mostly long hallways and slow slogs in rock-filled rooms that you have to blast your way through. Finally, you have another showdown with the same lobster monster as before, and you kill it in the same way as we did before. By pausing. So now I have the Wall 2 upgrade, which allows me to drive on the ceiling, cause fuck you, gravity, I'm a 150-ton tank, and I'll just hang here like I'm fucking Spider-Man. We backtrack to level 2 by driving on the ceiling, bypassing all the enemies from before, and then we head to level 3. Now I drive on the ceiling here, then I drive on the ceiling again, and this time I stay up there, and I enter the final zone, level 8. Level 8 is, well, it's cheap, and it's boring. Like your mom! Did I just say that out loud? They've got these spikes everywhere, and in one room, unless you've got maxed out hover, it's impossible to cross without almost dying. And considering enemies don't drop hover orbs like at fucking all, I had to throw myself into the briar patch. Ow. Level 8 is pretty short though. I reached the end of fight, the Hercule Beast? Actually, according to the wiki, this is the plutonium boss that I've heard so much about. Well, fucking spoilers, thanks cover of the game. Turns out its name is actually the Skelevenom, which, granted, is a pretty sweet name coming out of 1988. Now before I start talking about the boss fight itself, I need to take a moment and mention that this game actually has a novel. Published by Scholastic in the Worlds of Power series, Blaster Master actually goes into the story of this game. I've read it. It's great. According to the book, the plutonium boss is a creature that thrives on plutonium, its food source. It burrows deep under a planet, then quietly absorbs radiation for thousands of years. When it's had enough, it bursts through the surface, bathing the planet in nuclear fire. Then it flies through space until it can find another source to repeat the cycle.
Huh. That sounds familiar.
The other thing I needed to mention is that evidently the sequel to Blaster Master for the PlayStation, Blaster Master Blasting Again, actually follows the canon set out in the book and not the Japanese version of the game. So yeah, weird, right? Anywho, boss battle. Hey, remember when I mentioned that they might have blown their load early in level 7 with that music? Well, guess what? I was right. It's the final boss music. The final boss is a two-parter, because all good bosses need more than one form, and the bosses are not actually that hard. Considering the crazy frenetic pace that Fred set as a boss, the plutonium boss is downright lethargic. He's literally stuck in a wall, and all you have to do is sit in one place and bomb his mouth with grenades. Then the wall is destroyed, and out pops the Underworld Lord. This guy, like any great NES boss, is easy to cheese by going down to a corner and shooting at him. Provided you're not right up against the wall, he'll whip straight ahead and miss you completely, and he won't move down anymore either. So you just stand here and bomb him with a number of grenades that can only be described as ludicrous. Then he dies, and his tower in the distance crumbles.
Wait, weren't we underground?
And Jason suddenly has blue hair, and his frog seems strangely out of place here. Roll credits.
Blaster Master is a fantastic game for the NES. If you haven't played it, you should. If you have played it, which admittedly seems more likely since you're watching this video, then you already know how great it is. It's a real shame that the rest of the series never lived up to the first game. I mean, one of these days I'm gonna have to do a review on Blaster Master 2 because that game is a train wreck. Until then, you can read about it on my now defunct blog at link in the description below. So I guess the only thing left to do is lightning around boss names. All right, timer on the clock. Let's go. Insane in the Mother Brain, Red Lobster's Revenge, Tetris Trouble, The Frog Who Loved Me, Joe's Trap Shot, The Green Meanie, Roid Rage Kermit, The Black Beast of Level 12 Fighter. Good night, everybody! Hi, thanks for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, why don't you like, comment, and subscribe? Could act a little bit more impressed in the video, come on. The NES advantage. I am so glad that didn't hit my phone. You know, I used to freak out like this in front of a camera when I was 6. It's nice to know that 20 years later I'm doing the same shit.
Looking good, buddy. Wait, don't run away. Something's not right. We've always been friends. Come back here. What's wrong with you? You're looking kinda weird, good buddy. Wait, don't run away. Wait for me! Whoa! This place doesn't look familiar to me at all. Hey, maybe we could use this. I must say, Froggy! Hold on, Froggy. I'm coming. Whoa!